the ones that they have tested have actually been vaccinated. Not all of
Mm.
them have been fully vaccinated, and not all of them have received their booster as yet. So that's the thought is, is it because we're waning on the immunity a little bit, and then not everybody is yet boosted? Is that one of the reasons? The good part of the news, however, most of the people coming down with the Omicron have mild infection, mild to moderate. Not many of them
Yes.
have had to be hospitalized. So that's, still, some protective effect they're thinking from the vaccine, where people, even if they're exposed, are coming down with milder cases. However, let me not push that news too far, because one news out of South Africa is that a lot of younger children, 5 and up, are in the hospital because of Omicron. So
Wow.
again, is things a little different? I'm not sure if the vaccine rates are same in South Africa as here. So I think we need a little bit more time. So in essence, then here we have a new variant. We still have Delta that is raging its war. We have the Omicron now. I think from every study and everything that we have looked at, the best that is to be immunized. Then continue to distance and wear your mask, especially around people that you're not aware of. I've heard some strange stories. I have one family that I personally know visiting from Canada because of a funeral. The husband, wife, and a husband's sister. The wife is positive, the other two are not.
Mm.
Where did it pick up? They have all been the same places. They've really been trying. So this thing is so widespread, especially when you're coming in small spaces. So especially small close-up areas, especially if you don't know the people, and these are not the people you're around every day. I'm still very careful, and that's why, Pastor, I think we can still open up churches, but you have to open it up with that understanding that you're going to distance, you're going to sanitize, you're going to use your aerosol spray. You just have to do everything, to be, as protective, wearing your mask for sure, and just to really, take all the necessary precaution. Wash hands. I think that's one thing I think people are really forgetting,
Yes.
because, they'll use some sanitizer, they go from place to place, but washing your hands. I mean, that's why mine are so dry and chapped because I wash them so much. And I've been around, being a physician, I've been around people, I've tested people who are positive, but so far I've been protected by the Lord, number one. And also I'm
Right.
taking the necessary precautions, especially if I'm going to do a test on a person. We either do it in a, more outside area, or I make sure my mask is on, double mask at times, and just, especially if the person has symptoms, that I'm going to have to be checking them and being in a close court, and I'm usually not in a place with them longer than a few seconds, and such like. So all of these things we have to take into concern. And I think I still say, I mean, a lot of the churches, and I still see it a lot, they're having the plexiglass, and I think that's where a lot of them went wrong. They
Mhm.
invested in plexiglass, but they don't necessarily did all the other things. I mean, I
Right.
think if you have the plexiglass and you're doing all the other stuff, then you're going to be less likely. So that's kind of, I mean, a long-winded quick update, though, on where we stand right now. We're still, we're seeing a lot of people seems to be, of the people that are already vaccinated, are seem to be wanting to get a booster. As a matter of fact, there's a little bit of shortage in our area of the booster. A lot of people, their appointments are going so fast. As soon as they come, they're gone. But I think
Right.
by next week, we're gonna, see a better, the demand and the supply will kind of catch up to each other. So that's kind of where we are, with it. So I don't know if you have any other questions or
Yeah,
thoughts
Bishop.
on that.
Yeah. I got a question that came in. We still have, hesitancy in taking the first shot, right? There's still hesitancy. And this person would like to know, now that, we're at 6, 7, 8 months in, um, she has heard that Moderna gives greater side effects than the Pfizer. I don't know the credibility of that. Can you
Not,
talk to that? What the side
yeah.
effect
I,
between?
I think the side
Mm.
effects actually depends on the person, because
Okay.
I've had tons of people getting both Pfizer and Moderna personally. I got Moderna, or my wife got Moderna, my children got Pfizer, and we all didn't have any major side effects, thank Lord. And now the main side effects, again, is the sore arm, the muscle. You may get some muscle aches and such things like that. And I think it doesn't matter which one, you can get potential side effects. Each person just differs, and again, because I've had people with Moderna who's had a lot of side effects. I have people with the Pfizer who would have a lot of side effects, and people who had not minimal side effects with both. So I think it's really just you need to get it, be prepared. And I think one thing I was pointing out to one of my patients this week, and a lot of the jobs are not following through on it. But if you have side effects from getting the shot, you actually can get a day or two off, and they must still pay you. They did jobs. That was part of one of the bills that got passed. And I think there's some of the jobs are playing. This person, they're docking them, taking out they're using their sick days, using their personal days, and that shouldn't be. So if any of your jobs are doing that, you need to talk to the labor board, talk to your local congressman or something, because there is part of that law that was passed that if from getting your shots you're a little bit down a day or two, you should be given those days off. So that's just one pointer that that don't let the fact that you may miss a day or two of work then stop you from getting the shot, knowing that you should be able to get that time off without even being docking your personal days or your sick time. So people just be aware of that and talk to your jobs, tell them you're aware of this. And I think they just have to put in certain things different ways, but it's you can get covered where that's concerned. So I don't think one or the other give you more side effects. It's just each person is different, because remember, each of us, our immune status are different, our makeup is different, and so it's hard to say who will get side effects versus someone else. Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a part two to that, and it has to do with the mix and matching. So if I had adverse effect with the Pfizer, should I then try the Moderna since the Pfizer gave me adverse effects? I don't know if that's
well. The right now where the mix and the match is, if for any reason you need to get one and the one you got before is not available, you can get the other, and that goes either away from the Johnson & Johnson. You should still you can get either the Pfizer or the Moderna to follow up. But you should really get Pfizer or Moderna. You can get Johnson & Johnson if that's what you got before. The one if you got side effects with one, is a chance you may get side effects with the other one as well. So I wouldn't say that is gonna make the bigger the difference. It's just possible. And again, as I said, get yourself ready. Take some if it's a fever, you treat the fever. If there's a little bit of sore and aches and pain, you treat that. Talk with your doctor if you have any specific concerns, but I think the important thing is that you get immunized. One of the things that we pointed out at various stages of the game is that actually when you get some of those effects, is actually that's your body's fighting. So you are actually building those immunity when your body is fighting. And even if you don't get the side effects, you're still fighting, but it's definitely more, yes, I got it and I'm getting the effects. So I wouldn't, be deterred. I think from my standpoint, if the one that you got before is available, that's what I would get. If it's not available, then of course, if I got to, Pfizer or Moderna, I would interchange. And there actually is some thought that if you get either the Pfizer or Moderna to follow up the Johnson & Johnson, you may actually get better response, better, antibody response. So that's something to take into consideration. But really, I would get what is available, more likely, if possible, what I got before. But if not, then one of the others as necessary. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think there was one question. There was one question on this end. I don't know if you saw that one. But how long would it take for someone to catch COVID if they have been exposed to someone who already has COVID? Well, the long to catch it is a tricky question. You probably, from being even a few minutes with them in close, it depends on how close you are to the person, and such like. So the fact that the virus get transmitted to you would take, from minutes to hours, of course. However, you may not show any symptoms for as much as 7 to 14 days later. That is why the quarantine, because you're exposed, your body's going to fight, your body then may succumb to it, and you may see basically you respond to that anywhere from 7 to 14 days. So this is one of the reasons why if you're exposed to someone, you want to quarantine 10 to 14 days to make sure you have no symptoms. I would also get tested if I'm exposed, because you can be kind of contracted the virus and have no symptoms. So this is why you have to be very, 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 very careful. So the exposure may happen today. I may have been exposed and that may have been transmitted, maybe not enough. So I may not get down that ill. Or if it's enough, then I will probably see the virus have to get a hold of my system, get in my system, does it do its thing, and I would see potential symptoms in about 7 to 14 days around. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, Overseer, anything else?
I'm checking here.
All right, okay. Well, while you check, I think the key point is that we really need to take personal responsibility.
Yes,
Each of us,
yes.
and I think even I heard even from Jamaica, he goes, he's not locking down the country anymore. Everybody needs to take their responsibility and do what is appropriate and right. And I think that's what one of the things that we have preached all along. We have said that it's really a personal decision and therefore a personal responsibility that I'm gonna take the necessary precautions and I'm gonna follow up. This new variant. I think the key point is, and one of the pointers I was making also, as we take that personal responsibility and decide and get immunized, if we're deciding to do so, the more people that are immunized, the less that viruses people are gonna get infected and then have a chance to replicate, and then from replicating, having newer variants. Remember, the viruses, this is what they do. They get on a host, they replicate, and they mutate. That's what they do. Then they try to change themselves a little bit here and there to try to dominate. So it's kind of like spiritual warfare, right? The enemy, if you let him get a little hold, he gradually takes over and try to dominate. And so we are up against this. And I think, as we have said before, nothing is taken away from your faith in God. You got to believe God, because you have to, first of all, believe God even for the vaccine to take a hold and work. Because if you trust me, if you simply tell yourself this is not going to do it, it's not going to do it, then trust me, you could get the vaccine and you still won't be protected. However, if you have that faith and that belief and trust God to lead and direct, you're going to come out much stronger. And also, in general, by having faith and trusting God, your whole mindset, your whole buildup is going to be strong. Your immune system is going to be stronger, because
Yeah.
you're relying on God to help to boost it. All right? Go ahead, Overseer.
I see some comments here. People should not think they have nothing to worry about if they get together with family that don't live with. We can't see this virus.
No, that's a very true comment, and I that actually sounds like somebody I know. I didn't see who made it, but it's really a true thing, and that's one of the things that we've tried to get across is that I don't care how well the person look,
Yep.
even if they're immunized,
Yep.
and such, if they don't live in your household, you need to protect yourself. If you're coming into contact with each other, you need to take necessary precautions to make sure that you're well protected. And especially, I know, especially those I've seen a lot of bigger families get in trouble because they live all separate places. They come together, oh, we're family, and they're acting like they live together. Yes, you're family, unless you love each other and you care for each other. But because of that love and care, I think you should really protect when you come together, meet in an open area if possible,
Yep.
distance, wear the mask. And because I've seen a few families where it kind of went crazy and they get such a major spread. Thank God they're all okay. But I
Yeah.
see where it's really spread and take over family. Even this week, I was talking to one of my pastor friends from your neck of the woods, from Brooklyn, actually,
Yeah.
and he was
Hmm.
telling me about the street that he is on. I think he's what street is he on? Fulton, and he says actually there's two other churches, and both of those pastors died
Wow.
from COVID.
It must be
Right there.
hard. Hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of it was more family because they started getting with family and getting together, with their acquaintances without doing the necessary precaution. So that's something definitely to be careful about. Hmm.
Very much so.
Yep.
Another question. I'll let you answer it. Is there a vaccine out for children aged 10, part two, and is it safe?
The answer is yes. There is now approved vaccine for age 5 and up. All right, and it is safe. They did all the safety precaution. The dosing is a little bit different. I think it's about half the dose of what they give to the older ones. And
Yeah.
but it's been the Pfizer is the one that is already approved for that age group. I think Moderna is getting ready to apply for that, but there's a Pfizer out that is approved for that age group. And I know some of the schools, I don't know, in New York, maybe doing Botsani, or some of the schools in New Jersey are about to be making it available at school, so to get people better access to it. I think New York had some similar programs that they were doing as well. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. New York actually, have spots within the schools, and it was so overwhelming that the mayor had to get mobile vans. All right, because the
Hmm.
lines were around the block, and so there is definitely a push by the parents, and they definitely would like to. Once you drop the kid off at school, it's so convenient to just have them vaccinated right there, and they get right back into the classroom. So
Yes.
that's definitely the greatest defense. Now, what the mayor is doing is going after private schools, right?
Hmm.
Private schools, and ensure that the private schools and the educators of private school and administrators that they too get vaccinated. Because that's again a large population that is not yet served.
Hmm. Yes,
All right.
that's really true. It's really true, and I think the children are really at a greater risk, especially when they're going out to school, because as much as they're trying to distance, it's very difficult. So I think if I had a younger child, I would definitely consider them getting their shots. There was another question on should we go ahead and get the booster.
Yeah.
Actually, I say yes, and the reason and they actually have approved the boosters now for everyone 18 and
Yeah.
above who have had their other series completed at least 6 months ago. That is the recommendation. I hope we're not going to have to be getting the shot every 6 months, but as of right now, that's where it seems to be. So everybody who has had the series is it suggested that you go ahead and get your booster shot at this time, especially with the Omicron variant kind of be on the rise. It's not a lot here yet, but it's going to be on the rise, and not sure how it's going to react. So the best thing is to have your highest immune level. So remember, the reasoning for the booster is because the immunity is kind of wearing off. Kind of like, yes, the tetanus takes 10 years to wear off. Seems like the COVID is wearing off. And I'm sure over the next few months to year, they're going to probably try to develop, do more development with the immunization to try to make it, more immunogenic. So you're getting more antibodies. So it's going to be lasting longer. But even with the flu shot, now the recommendation for that is every year. And before we close, I'm gonna, mention close to the end about the flu shot because that's another issue that we're kind of having. But yes, it's time to get your booster if you're 18 and above, and you have been received your second shot, or whether it was a J&J, and you receive one shot. If it's been 6 months, it's time for your booster.
Great, great. And I got my booster just yesterday,
Hmm.
and I'm
Yep.
doing well. Little sore on the arm, right? But that's expected. You actually open the skin, so the body is doing its due diligence. Those white blood cells are trying to close up that wound and
Yep.
fighting feverishly. But
Hmm.
I thank
Yep.
God for the science. I thank God for the science. All right.
Yep. And I got
All
my
right.
booster earlier this week. So, we're all, we're going to practice what we preach. So if we're
Yeah.
mentioning it and we think it's a good idea, we're going to let we're not going to hide that we did something. And again, remember, anybody out there who so far have not gotten a shot or even thinking about a booster, we're just giving you out that information. I say consider it. Please look at the information, take it, stock of it. If you want to go to the Lord and ask Him about it, feel free. We do recommend that, but please listen to whatever the Lord has to say to you as well. All right.
So,
Okay.
so Bishop, another question: is there any medical science development for those who really have severe side effects and do want some protection? Is there something else on the horizon? I'm hearing that there's a pill. I'm hearing that there is, other
They're they're
things.
they're working on a lot, and there's some medication. Of course, there's treatment.
Yeah. Okay.
Because remember, immunization is preventative. That's what we're talking about here. But there's definitely treatment if you do come down with COVID, and you should just check with your doctor, your local hospital, local urgent care center, because they will treat people with the monoclonal antibodies and other treatment. They are working on it. I think Pfizer is working on a pill form of, to prevent, but they're not there yet, but there are definitely a lot of stuff in the works. And basically, the other thing is if you've had side effects, I think one thing to do, at least you kind of know you're probably going to have similar side effects if you have had it from one. And so you know what it is. Talk to your doctor about it. What's the best way we can treat these side effects so that they're not debilitating and they're not knocking you down. So that's the other issue. At least if you're going to get effects, you can prepare yourself. The other thing, remember, in general, you need to be as healthy as you can, eating, right, sleeping, drinking enough water, taking care of yourself in general. And of course, if you have any other underlying condition, try to get those things as much under control as possible. So to kind of minimize, your side effects. And then if you are getting them, we know how to take care of them. You make sure you know how to take care of yourself, and don't let maybe missing a day or two of work stop you. There is provision made for you to be covered for that as well. So I think it's just being prepared and dealing with whatever effects or symptoms that you do have. Hmm.
All right. This last one. So, Bishop, I contracted the virus, and my doctor told me I have a high immunity. Does that wane away faster than the COVID vaccine? I
Yes,
mean, the
good
wane.
question, and great question. And actually, I actually read an article to that effect, that it seems like the natural immunity wanes off a little faster.
Mm,
All right. So from you getting those people who have contracted COVID, and of course, yes, you have natural antibodies that are formed because of that, because your body, from the studies that they have done so far, it seems like that wanes off a little bit faster. So that's one of the reasons why, remember now, they are still recommended that you do get the vaccine, even if you had the disease, because it seems like that immunity and antibody protection seems to wear off a little bit faster. So I think it's just to get yourself as protected as possible. Hmm. Yep.
good.
All
Question
right.
for you here. Is the
Yes.
oral mentioned palnus and
Mhm.
autoimmune disease, and would it prevent the vaccine from working?
Yeah, it's a form of an autoimmune reaction in your system. And anyone with any kind of autoimmune disease, there may have a little bit, they may be somewhat immunosuppressed. And it's not that the vaccine would not work, it may not work as well. And I think if you have any kind of autoimmune issues, I would follow closely with my doctor and actually that's what kind of person that should probably get their actual antibody levels checked. to see, yes, you made adequate antibody, and then see if it potentially also is wearing off a little bit faster than someone who does not have an autoimmune disease. So with lichen planus and any of those things, talk with your immunologist, or the doctor you're seeing who's treating you for it, to double check that whether you should be getting your antibody level actually checked and seeing what is the level of your antibody status. And then that's probably a better way to manage a person like that. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. All right. So in general, let's just talk a little bit about, if you still keep the questions coming, if you have more,
Yes.
because this is
Right.
actually the better way for us to do this, because then we know that we're answering what you want to hear, and
Yep.
we're not
Yep.
just talking. So keep the questions coming. But let's just mention a little bit about the flu vaccine. As a matter of fact, I waited a little bit because I know I was going to get my booster, so I got them both the same day. I got my
Oh, yeah.
flu vaccine and my booster the same day, both me and my wife, because, just so I would only get stuck one day, and then whatever soreness I'll have it, all to one. So just so you know, it is flu season. We're actually, in the middle of it. It starts from like late September, goes till spring, and it's recommended that all of us get a flu vaccine. Again, people may have reasons they don't want to. I'm not getting into that. Bottom line, I'm giving you the recommendation and why. The flu can also be pretty, dangerous for people, especially if you're immunosuppressed or have any other underlying conditions. People do die from the flu, not as much as from COVID, but people still do die from that. And so they do a new flu vaccine every year based on the predicted strains that are going to be in and around. And therefore, that's why you kind of need it every year to protect you against whatever strain that's around. If you're going to get the flu vaccine and you need a COVID, it's a great thing to get them both the same day. If you do not get them the same day, you have to wait about 2 to 3 weeks between. So if you get your flu today, you're going to have to wait to get your COVID, and same and vice versa. So if you have to get them, you may as well get them together. All right, and the reason for that is if I get a COVID or a flu today, here's my body working to make those antibodies, and I'm a little bit run down, and then I get another shot in a close proximity. First of all, my body may not be able to make antibodies against both and produce as good an immunity, just to break it down to that level. And or I may be a little bit immunosuppressed from fighting one and have an issue, not making the antibodies to the other. So that's the recommendation why when you're getting that. So you want to make sure that, if you're going to get a flu shot, just get it at the same time. Or if you're just got a COVID and you have to wait a few weeks, then you can then wait a few weeks and get it. So that is what it is all about. All right, and somebody, let me go with Aaron.
I got one.
Oh,
I got one.
somebody's just announcing me on the here. All right, so
Yeah.
I thought somebody had a question, but it's not a question. They were just making a. So
Here is
everybody.
one. Here's one,
Go ahead.
Bishop, but I think you answered it, but maybe it's a different question because it says, is it safe for my 13-year-old girl to take the vaccine? I guess she's also having instances. There's concern about infertility long term. Is it really safe? And Pfizer versus Moderna.
Yes, good question again. And if you have been watching some of the ads on TV trying to get people to get out this, it's really clear from the studies that they've done so far that there's no effect on fertility. Of course, somebody's going to say, well, we don't. It's only been around a year, going on 2 years. But from all the studies, it does not affect that organ system in any way. So I would say from the studies, it's safe for a 13-year-old to get it. And then actually for anyone, even any reproductive age female. As a matter of fact, they've been putting a push to get all the pregnant ladies, pregnant females to be immunized, because there's some detrimental effects if they get the COVID and it gets passed to the fetus. then we have seen some detrimental effects. So they're actually a big push to even get pregnant ladies immunized. And it doesn't seem to affect anything with breastfeeding as well, from all of the studies. So it's a relatively, from the studies that have been done and all of the things, it's safe. So I would say yes to that question.
Right.
Mhm. All right. Okay. So any other questions, Overseer, that you see there?
So far, no.
All right.
None. All
So
right.
we're
We're
gonna
doing.
break a little bit and just
Yes.
see. You're gonna tell me what's going on over in New York, in your
Yes.
neck of the woods, and what's coming up, and then we'll mention a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up. Go ahead.
All right. Gospel Tabernacle Church, located at 3818 Barnes Avenue, where I am the senior pastor, Pastor Franklin Williamson. We're finishing December strong. December strong. Coming up on Sunday, it's our first time having the Lord's Communion in the house, and we have really done a great job in getting the separate packets. It's not in the communion container where they're so closely together, and everyone has their own. As you come in, you get it. As you come in, you get it. So you're not passing that plate like we did back in the day pre-COVID. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to be very fulfilling spiritually. The last time we did something like this was February. All right. So the family coming together. We have been doing it virtually, everyone at home, and we pray online, and they do it virtually. And what I've liked, Bishop, we have done washing of feet, where you wash the members at your house. And that was exciting, washing my wife's feet, my daughter's feet. Can't recall ever doing that before this pandemic. So that's going to happen on Sunday. And then starting on Friday, is my appreciation service. That has been postponed because, we were adversely impacted of Hurricane Ida. Our basement was decimated. 7 feet of water came in and we lost everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. So we pushed that back. So this Friday will be appreciation service, my wife and I, and on Saturday. And then Sunday will be mostly for the home saints. So that's the appreciation this weekend. Then following Sunday, December 19th, as I said, we're finishing strong. That will be our Sunday school end of year Christmas program. Again, we didn't have all the classes, so the program will be somewhat condensed, somewhat more holistic, the items, but I know our superintendent and our team will pull off a great event. So that's on the 19th. And then on the weekend, we will visit Winter Wonderland. This year, because of COVID, up by Kensico Dam, it's a drive-through. It's about 1.25 miles. We drive through all these beautiful lights. Back in the day, you'd actually walk through these lights, stop and get funnel cake, stop and get hot chocolate, and enjoy yourself. And that will be the big event for the youth ministry and all the adults. My mom was always excited about seeing Christmas lights. And then we're going to close out with our New Year's Eve watch night service in-house. So come on, just find us on Facebook, GTCBX. Find us on YouTube, GTCBX, Gospel Tabernacle Church Bronx. So God bless you. God bless you. We love you. And please, 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 continue to wear your mask. Continue to social distance. Continue to wash your hands 20 seconds. Say the Lord's Prayer. And if you have not yet got your first shot, that is more important than the booster shot. All right. So let's get your arms vaccinated. God bless you. Back to you, Bishop.
Yeah, thank you, Overseer. And over here in New Jersey, Premier Family Life, actually, we're just finishing up the year just on our regular services. Remember, we have service every Sunday morning at 9, and we are in person. We do stream it on Facebook and YouTube, but 230 Davidson Avenue. Come on out and join us. We will be having a watch night service on the end of the year service, and that's probably going to be starting about 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve. So you're also welcome to make plans to join us with that. And we want everybody just to, have a wonderful time. Remember, this is all about Jesus. It's not about any of us. And it's all about us, making it into the kingdom. So we want everybody to be safe. We want you to stay strong. Remember, as the overseer just pointed out, let's protect ourselves, and each one of us take the necessary precaution to, live a healthy, peaceful, joyous life as we serve the Lord. So God bless you today. We hope you had a wonderful time. It was great speaking with everyone. So God bless you and have an awesome evening. The blessings of the Lord be upon everyone. God bless.
Turning Point family, what an awesome time we just had. To all our first-time guests, we truly appreciate you for joining our live broadcast. We would like to hear from you, so please send us your comments, questions, or testimonies of how this program has impacted your life. Our email address is info@pflmi.org. Finally, if you feel led at any time to give to this ministry, please visit us at pflmi.org and click on the tab for donations. You can also give via Cash App at $PFLMIORG. We're looking forward to meeting with you live on next week's program. Have a blessed and prosperous weekend.